This shot showing you lower Manhattan, and everything is actually in pretty good shape now as we work into clear.
This is the news leader, ABC 7.
Good evening. Today, our fellow citizens, our way of life, our very freedom came under attack in a series of deliberate and deadly terrorist acts.
The American dream is dead.
Hi folks, this is hashtag Go Right with Peter Boykin. I am an American commentator, political commentator, a citizen journalist, an activist, and constitutionalist for liberty. Normally, I begin reflecting on the anniversary of September 11th with phrases like, "Where were you on 9/11?" or "Never forget September 11th." But this year, until I wrote down the date, I had almost forgotten the significance of the day myself, I admit. With the world consumed by politics, the latest presidential debate, and personal tragedies in my life, it became easier to understand why some people might say it's time to move on. If you were born after 2001, you cannot personally remember September 11th because it didn't happen in your lifetime. The key point is that we must remember the history and understand what led us to that moment. It represents one of the darkest points in history when humanity, instead of choosing peace, was forced into war. Like many others, I listened to a presidential debate between Kamala Harris and Donald Trump. And once again, Trump made it clear that he is a peacekeeper. While acknowledging that sometimes war may be inevitable, he consistently strives for peace, doing everything possible to stop the world from inching closer to another catastrophic event, like World War III. On the other hand, Harris appeared more focused on ensuring a certain side's victory, rather than advocating for peace, which in my view only pushes the world toward another senseless war. In times like these, we must come together and remember our history. Remember the Boston Massacre in 1770. The killing of 5 colonists by British soldiers became a rallying cry for the American Revolution. Remember the Alamo in 1836. A powerful call to remember the Battle of the Alamo during the Texas Revolution, where a small group of defenders fought bravely against overwhelming odds. Remember the Maine in 1898. The sinking of the U.S. Maine in Havana Harbor was a catalyst for the Spanish-American War. Remember Pearl Harbor, 1941. The attack on Pearl Harbor drew the United States into World War II. And recently, remember 9/11 in 2001. The terrorist attacks that changed America, reminding us of the ongoing threats to our nation and the importance of unity in the face of adversary. There will come a time when people no longer remember, because a new generation won't have lived through these events. But they can study and hopefully learn from the past. That's my lesson for this year's September 11th anniversary. I've compiled videos and stories from the past, and I will continue sharing them this anniversary. But together we must ensure that we never forget our history and the lessons it teaches. This has been #GoRight with Peter Boykin. Where were you on 9/11? Well, I know I was sitting there waking up and being woke up by, hey, a plane just flew into a building. And I'm sitting there arguing, well, maybe it's an accident. I don't know. Who knows? And then that second plane flew in, and we were freaking out. We were thinking about we were going to pack, we were going to get on the road. I remember calling my parents who were in Florida. Turned out they had went to the casino, of course. Trying to call them frantically, trying to call them. We didn't have cell phones and things like that. This much, back then. I know it's 2001, but we didn't have them like we have now. Couldn't get in touch with them at all. That's kind of the reason why I didn't go. And we watched on TV as they were taking down planes. They took down that plane going toward the White House. They won't tell you that, but it didn't crash. They took it down. What I'm saying is the airplanes falling into the building weren't just the only things. I don't think the government was involved, but I think there was more to it than meets the eye. I think that internally there were bombs that were set off. They were smarter than the government wants to let on. They sat down, they detonated it. That's why they call it 9/11. But people died. Could you imagine the amount of videos and things we had? If we had Twitter and things that we have nowadays, when 9/11 happened, how much video we would have had, how much even more closer, or at least the opportunity where people could have said their goodbyes on camera. But 9/11 people, millennials, nowadays, they do not understand. Scuttled Radio talked about it. They don't understand what happened. That's why there's so many youth that just don't understand. They've actually lived through a period of peace, and they think that Obama brought them that peace, or the tail end of W. No. We're just lucky that nothing other than, the Boston bombing or some other things, nothing major like 9/11's happened since then. Because we have to put those measures into order. We've had to put years of measures in airplanes, and things we have to get used to because of terrorism. Now, I tell you what, I remember the days after 9/11. The amount of patriotism in America we never going to see ever again. It was like 4th of July for months. People had American flags everywhere. We weren't Republicans. We weren't Democrats. We were all Americans. We were all patriots. I miss those days. So God bless everybody. God bless the souls who lost on 9/11. And hope everybody's safe. God bless America. I'll talk to you later.
The sky was clear, the morning bright, but everything changed in a moment's flight. We stood in shock, we cried in pain, as the world around us wouldn't be the same. But through the dust, through the fire and tears, we found the strength to face our fears. In the darkest hour, a nation came alive. We rose together and we survived. We remember the heroes, the ones who gave all. The towers may have crumbled, but we didn't fall. Through the heartache and sorrow, we found a way to stand united, to live another day. We remember, we'll never forget the price of freedom, the lives we met. Through every tear, through every prayer, we remember we were all there. The years have passed, but the memory stays of lives lost in those tragic days. We honor the brave, the ones who fought, who showed us the courage that can't be bought. In every heart, the flame still burns, a lesson in love that we have learned. For though the night was long and cold, the spirit of America still shines bold. We remember the heroes, the ones who gave all. The towers may have crumbled, but we didn't fall. Through the heartache and sorrow, we found a way to stand united, to live another day. We remember, we'll never forget the price of freedom, the lives we met. Through every tear, through every prayer, we remember we were all there. So raise your flag, hold it high, for those who soared into the sky. For every name, for every soul, they live within us, they make us whole. We remember the heroes, the ones who gave all. The towers may have crumbled, but we didn't fall. Through the heartache and sorrow, we found a way to stand united, to live another day. We remember, we'll never forget the price of freedom, the lives we met. Through every tear, through every prayer, we remember we were all there. We remember and we stand strong. In the heart of America, we all belong.
I remember where I was on that warm, clear Tuesday morning of September 11th, 2001. I will never forget. I will remember like it was yesterday. Where were you? On this day, many years ago, 246 people went to sleep in preparation for their morning flights. 2,606 people went to sleep in preparation for work in the morning. 343 firefighters went to sleep in preparation for their morning shift. 60 police officers went to sleep in preparation for their morning patrol. 8 paramedics went to sleep in preparation for their morning shift. None of them saw past 10 a.m. September 11th, 2001. In one single moment, life may never be the same. As you live and enjoy the breaths you today and tonight before you go to sleep in preparation for your life tomorrow, kiss the ones you love, snuggle those children a little tighter, and never take 1 second of your life for granted. We're praying for the families of those who lost a loved one on this day in this time period many years ago. Never forget. United we stood on September 11th. On a footnote, folks, there's a lot of you that weren't born during this time, and you just don't quite understand. It'd be like asking someone who lived through Pearl Harbor to forget about Pearl Harbor. For many of us in our ages, September 11th was our Pearl Harbor, and it will feel for the rest of our lives like it was yesterday. So please take note of that when you talk to others and say, why do you care about September 11th so much? Let's worry about other things. Because it mattered. It mattered, folks. And it still does. The world's not going to change overnight. We're going to keep spinning, no matter what tragedy we go through. But there's some key points in our history that we cannot forget. And September 11th will always go down as a time we will never forget. God bless everybody. This has been hashtag Go Right with Peter Boykin. And I urge you to stay updated on these important stories and more at GoRightNews.com. You can find hashtag Go Right with Peter Boykin on Rumble, YouTube, TikTok, and Facebook. And if you'd like to support the cause, you can donate via Cash App at $ Peter Boykin, the number 1. And links are available at GoRightNews.com and PeterBoykin.com. Keep informed, stay engaged, and together, let's keep America moving in the right direction. God bless. Peace, everybody.